Very good morning. It's been long since I caught up with my streak. I know I missed a lot of days, and I think it's been more than a week now. I think so. But then today I had coffee in the morning, and the caffeine really helped me. I got a dopamine shot, and I felt so suddenly I started feeling so good about everything around, though nothing changed. So it shows, how it's all about our mind, and I think it's all over the internet. I don't want to start it off again. Okay, so we'll go off with chapter 9, God's covenant with Noah. So then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall upon all the beasts of the earth and all the birds of the air, upon every creature that moves along the ground, and upon all the fish of the sea. They're given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And for your lifeblood I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal and from each man too. I will demand an accounting for the life of his fellow man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God has God made man. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number, multiply on the earth and increase upon it." Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, "I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark. With you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will life be cut off by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant I'm making between me and you, and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. When the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth." So God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on the earth." The sons of Noah. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backward and covered their father's nakedness. Their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend the territory of Japheth. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Altogether, Noah lived 950 years and then died. So, looking at the curse, immediately one would think that, okay, so, Noah, how could Noah do such a thing for such a small thing which his son Ham did to him? And how could he just make him a slave to his brothers? But One thing we should remember, even today morning, I was just remembering this. Most writers write something they want to express through in a metaphorical way. So I believe these stories of human beings depicted and their interaction with God tries to communicate something beyond time. So when you look at the three sons and the response of their father to their actions, you can relate this to what we do today. So when Ham saw, Ham. So when Ham sees that his father was naked in the tent, okay, he was in a vulnerable condition. He could have actually clothed his father without having the need to go and tell this to his other two brothers. He could have done what his brothers did by, turning away, not looking at his nakedness, rather just take a clothing, and even if he had seen, it's fine. He could have just taken a cloth and covered his father. It's as simple as that. But what he did was, we do not know his intentions, but he goes and tells his brothers that his father is sleeping naked in the tent. It's similar to how we expose someone of their shortfalls in life. So when someone has a weakness, a point where they fall out of the weakness of their flesh, it does not necessarily mean that you go and expose them to outside people. It might be momentary in their life, and they overall need not be a person who needs to be exposed and humiliated or brought to judgment. You could rather help them privately, or you can leave them as they are instead of talking about them behind their back. So that's what one of Noah's sons does in this story. And the example of the other two brothers, I think Shem and Japheth, they do the right thing. They do not even want to see their father in his state of nakedness, so they turn backwards. They carry a clothing to cover his nakedness, and they cover him up. So that's one thing which they do, which signifies how a person must respond to someone in a vulnerable state where they have fallen short of their nature. You cover them, okay? So, metaphorically speaking, this shows that when someone falls short of their due to their weakness in life, uh, you can overlook, just like the two brothers, you can turn your eyes away from that condition, try to cover them with your love. You can do that because in other verses, as we read through the Bible, there would be verses where love covers a multitude of sins. It's similar to what these two brothers do. They have covered their father. They covered his shortfalls with the blanket. So it's not just a physical act of turning backwards and covering their father's nakedness, but it is a significance. It signifies an act where you look away from the shortfalls of a person, you turn your eyes away from it, take your eyes off to those shortfalls in them, and you try to cover them with your love. You try to cover those things. And when you do so, the person tends to, in fact, change, get better, and be a better person. So that is what brings about blessings in a person's life. So God blesses that act. So here we see that Noah blesses that act and not the brothers. It is the act which is being blessed and the act which is being cursed. So cursed is the act where you try to expose someone when they are in a very vulnerable situation where they are not that kind of a person otherwise, except for that time in their lives. So there are times we all fall short of perfectness. Nobody in life is perfect. So when right before you expose someone, right before you bring someone to judgment, right before you even judge them in your mind, we can think of ourselves. Are we perfect? Had we been in this situation, in their position, Would you want yourself to be exposed, or would you want yourself to be covered by love and be helped to come out of that condition? So, once the moment you turn the fingers to yourself to think and point towards your um, um, actions and your personality or anything, you would be able to relate your own condition with the person, and you would definitely not want to do what Ham did to his dad. So that's one huge learning I had when I was reading this passage, and one more right above as we go. I'm just going reverse this time in this chapter. I'm not beginning going from the top to bottom, but bottom to top. So up after this, we see that God uh, is upset that he sent the floods and had destroyed human life, and he promises through the rainbow, uh, through a covenant, that he would not destroy human beings ever through floods. But the question arose when I was reading this. The question arose that even after those years, there were floods. There were people who were dying in the floods. What about that, God? Did you send those floods? You said you wouldn't do that, right? You promised that you would never do that. But there's one more thing you need to remember about God. This always keeps coming time and again to my mind. So, in the very beginning, God did not create human beings just similar to animals, but they have the image of God. You have choice, free will. So, today, everything which we see around in our environment, the climatic conditions, the changes, the pollution, innovations, the developments, the enhancements, the digital advancements which we see around the world, everything is a result of human creation, creativity, and human actions. So, the negative as well as the positive which we see today in the world is not just about God, but also, or it is more of our own free will act. So, and God, since He has given that free will to human beings, He doesn't intervene, because a promise once given is given. So, He lets you do what you want with your life, and He also expects you to use that free will to good. Just like how your creativity could bring about innovations and good for humanity, it could also bring disaster. So I believe the floods today, or the climatic conditions today, or the natural disasters we face are more of a result of our own acts, or a result of our own actions towards a consequence, basically, towards what we do. So the more we pollute the environment, the more we exploit what has been entrusted to us, we end up seeing the consequences of it. So, yes, the more you go ahead with deforestation, it leads to global warming, and then, of course, water evaporates, and then rains come in, extremes of climatic conditions, floods, earthquakes. So, I would say it's man made more, because I believe that once God promises something, He never goes back on His promise. So, these disasters which we face today, and so many risks and uncertainties are a result of what we do. So, and I believe that as individuals, once we change that, the environment and everything happening around will definitely experience a change as well. So that's one beautiful thing. And as we go further, God blesses us to be fruitful, multiply, and increase. And He also says that people who hurt a human being are accountable to Him, even animals. He values human beings to that extent. He mentions that animals will need to account for what they do to us, and even another human being. So He loves us so much that someone or something that hurts us will be accountable to God. So remember that when you are trying to do something which is not so good for another human, be it physically, be it virtually, be it mentally, even a small judgment, even a small comment against another person. Today, social media, we see so many people just posting random comments, and that, of course, you have your freedom of thought, but we should be very careful to not make quick judgments about the character or what people are or about their personal life unless you really know it. And from this scripture, it is clear that even if you see them in a vulnerable condition, you are not the person to judge them or comment about them on social media. So this applies for everybody who who post comments. You Because feedback is meant to be constructive. It's meant for, of course, criticism is needed for growth, but that should not be directed towards destroying or exposing an individual. See, today, even again in social media, we do what harm does, right? We try to expose them, we try to gossip, we try to talk about them, which is definitely not acceptable. It's equal to destroying a person physically, it's equal to hurting a person physically, for which we would definitely be accountable to God in our life. So, when you think of somebody, when you think of about the action, or before even just mentally judging someone, think about that twice, and it's better to just leave it to God. It's better to not come to any conclusions without really knowing the other side of the picture, and go about our life as much as possible, trying to help them like the other two brothers. You can cover people, you can help people like Japheth and Shem, but never try to destroy another person. You see, it's all interconnected, right? When you read the passage from beginning up till the top, uh, everything, I believe, is a good inspiration to us. And as we go up above to the very beginning or the first lines of this chapter, God entrusts everything to us. So, like I said, everything around us, everything on this earth is gifted to us by God. It's created for us, but also it means that you are responsible for it as well. And your actions have a consequence. So it's just like entrusting an entire home to a child by their parents. So you have, as much as you have the freedom to enjoy the things inside the house, you also have the responsibility to take care of the things in the house so that you can live there for long. Imagine you just burn down the house. Do you think you can live there? No, right? One night if you burn down, the next day you're out on the streets. So it's similar to that. So this earth is meant for you. It's everything on it is for you. Also, you're meant to protect it as well. So I think I'll leave you with that today. We've gone beyond the usual timing, but it's good that we always understand the in-depth meanings of the chapter. I'm no expert, but I'm just expressing my thoughts. This is my personal journal. So if you have any thoughts, if you ever come across this video, maybe you can post your comments. But for now, it's my personal writing. So it's open to commentary, criticism, and whatever you like to share. Maybe your point of view. You have a good day.